first I want to make sure I got across the idea that feeling that money story, the unproductive messages from childhood, that it's uncomfortable, it's painful, but I really want to invite us to gain a certain comfort with that discomfort. Like, be able to be okay with some of that dissonance, because the more we can be okay with it, the less it needs to control us. If we're fighting those messages, then those messages, it's almost like, trying to push a beach ball underwater. It's going to pop up automatically if we're just trying to push it down. So I want to invite this friendliness with the discomfort. And then I'd say, Tami, that, that if this oscillating back and forth is, creating some anxiety or some disequilibrium in the mind, well, you don't need to do that oscillation back and forth. When I really felt like I healed myself around my money story, it came just from doing the deep compassion work, from doing the deep compassion for the younger version of myself, from doing the deep compassion for my father, who transmitted that message to me that money's more important than anything. Is like I had to find my compassion for his childhood. And then I would say further, Tami, that another thing you can invite is what actions might be the antidote to the way you've been relating to money. What are those uncomfortable actions? Or usually they're uncomfortable because they're not familiar to us. So maybe if your family, if you were taught to never spend, maybe it is taking some intentional actions to spend some money. Maybe if you're like most families, or it's like, don't ever talk about money, maybe it's taking some intentional steps to have, being in this course is a very intentional step to talk about money, to invite a trusted friend to have an authentic money conversation. I think all of these are ways to start loosening our allegiance to these messages, so that we're not caught in a pattern. We're not at the effect of these messages. We have agency over our money decisions. We're no longer just automatically acting from that message that money's evil, for example. So I hope that helped, Tami, that about
it did, yeah.
The oscillation part.
Well, and also you saying that it was the compassion practice that
yes.
really was your breakthrough. That's helpful.
It really was. And I have to say that, and I think we all can appreciate this in all of our personal growth work, that there's one thing to offer compassion to yourself, and it's another thing to really offer compassion to yourself. And we can experience these deeper levels of compassion. And the same with my father. When I first started offering compassion to him, I was just doing it symbolically, but I wasn't really in that place of full compassion, like not looking down, because compassion is a place where we're not looking down on ourselves. We're not looking down on the person who gave us these messages. We're really seeing their fullness. And we're offering this care, this love for them, this understanding of how they acquired how they became to be the person that they evolved to be with us. So I think letting yourself deepen that compassion, really feeling this softness for that younger version of yourself. You have to get to that place where there's no blame towards yourself for the idea that you're not good with money, for example.
Spencer, of the 7 pillars of mastering money, is one more important than the others? And if so, which one?
I think the one that's most important, Tami, is the one that's creating the most challenge, or the one that you tend to most avoid. That's the one that I would might focus on. I think that in general, I mean, communication, I think, is so key around money. That's the first one. And it's money is so taboo that I think that one is I think really important, because if we can't communicate around money, it's going to lead to setbacks at work. It's going to lead to setbacks with our personal finances, especially if we're in a relationship with someone around money, whether that's a romantic relationship or a business relationship. So I think communication is key, and it's the one where most of us are so challenged, because we haven't done it much. And that's the other thing, we have to give ourselves a break here. Like, we have not been practicing this very much in our lives. This is new material, and we're forging, a new path for ourselves with this program. And it's so great, that Sounds True is doing this, because there's been so little attention placed on how emotional money is.